Before we dive into today's episode, we want to provide a quick discretion notice. Spirits with Crime is a podcast that explores true crime and paranormal stories, often delving into unsettling and sometimes disturbing subject matter. The content we discuss may not be suitable for all audiences, and listener discretion is advised.
While we strive to present these stories with respect and sensitivity, we understand that they may evoke strong emotions or discomfort. We encourage you to care for your well-being and pause or skip any segments that you find distressing.
Many of the topics we discuss are based on real-life events, and we make every effort to provide accurate information. However, due to the nature of the subjects, details may vary or be subject to differing interpretations. We encourage further research and exploration for a comprehensive understanding of the stories we present.
Lastly, our themed cocktails are meant to enhance the overall experience and provide a unique connection to the episode's topic. We remind you to drink responsibly and be aware of your own limits. Never drink and drive. Enjoy the episode. Because I refuse.
What is this, a Taylor Swift concert?
Ew. I refuse to go to a concert if you don't know some of the words.
No, I know them. I'm old, remember?
So am I. Kesha's like my favorite.
I was listening to Kesha in middle school.
I probably was too.
4 years later.
Yeah.
I think Kesha's
No, I
just
was
a middle
listening-
school phase.
I was listening to Kesha before.
Yeah, because you were in elementary school when I was in middle school.
Yeah, I was listening to Kesha in elementary school, bro.
That's
Okay,
what
but
I'm saying. I was in middle school.
Alright, whatever. Oh my god, I feel like
I know, that's why I'm saying we need the little ends.
like, oh, I feel so hunched back. Okay. Well, at least now I can just like go like this, right? You can't.
That's comfortable.
Well, I would rather
I
go
can't
like
see
this
from
than
here.
like this.
I have night blindness.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
It's British in here.
It's British in here?
It is. A little of Ireland. We've got the banta.
We've got the banta. It's British in here. Are you recording?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Thank God, because that was really good.
Yeah, it's been recording for like 2 minutes.
Oh, perfect. When we were talking about Kesha too?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Okay. Well, I was just explaining to Jess, I was like, hey, if my man went to a concert on my birthday, I would
That's fair.
lose my fucking shit. And
Yeah.
I know she would too.
Yeah.
If he did it on her birthday, she'd lose her
I
shit.
would lose my shit.
I would too. I'm like, really? You're gonna go to a fucking concert instead of my birthday? So she was like, okay, yeah, I think you should just take Danny. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I
Okay.
understand that. I didn't know it was his birthday when I bought them.
Yeah.
Should have been like, when's his birthday?
Well,
Anyways.
now you know.
Anyways, we're gonna see Kesha! So excited. I'm so fucking excited. Okay, moving on. So, welcome to Spirits with Crime. I was trying to do it like our discretion.
Oh, I was like, you forgot our famous line.
Hello, spooky people. Today, we are covering something a little different. We have not covered this topic before. Going into kind of like a cult theme here. We talked about it and we were like, why haven't we done a cult yet?
I know. I almost wanted to, like, keep it in my back pocket for when we get famous. Just start another podcast on just cults. But we're going to do that with something else. I already have it in my brain.
Oh, perfect.
TM.
Okay.
None of you can look in there.
Yeah. See, so I was thinking about it and I was like, cults? I totally forgot about cults. I was like,
Me too.
I fucking forgot. And come on, that's crime.
Stupid.
Whatever. Today we're covering the story of Jim Jones. It's quite the story, if you ask me. So Jim Jones, his real name was James Warren Jones. He
He was born May 13th, 1931.
That sounds like the fakest name I've ever heard.
Yeah, well,
that's not true.
maybe that is fake.
I don't know. That last one we talked about sounded pretty fake too.
Which one?
Guy Playfair.
Oh yeah, Guy Playfair. Isn't Playfair like isn't that the...
No, that's Playbill.
Oh. I was like, isn't that the kid toy company?
Oh. I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking
of the kid toy
musicals.
company. No. Oh.
The Playbills.
You think I know what a musical is?
No, that's why I was confused when when I thought I was talking about what you were talking about.
Playfair Toys. Pretty sure that's a toy.
Are you sure that's what you're thinking of?
No. I think I'm wrong. Whatever. Moving on. He was born May 13th, 1931 near Lynn, Indiana.
Okay.
He says that his parents were too busy for him, and his dad was emotionally absent, so he didn't know...
Except physically.
Well... He didn't know what the hell love was. Quotations. He explored every church in town, and he participated in the rituals before moving on to the next. So he'd get sick of them and then go to the next one. Yeah. He was an American cult leader who promised his followers a utopia in the jungle of South America.
Okay.
He wanted to start his own church, so he sold live monkeys door to door to get the money for that.
I'm sorry, what?
He sold live monkeys door to door to open his own church.
Yes, please buy my monkeys. They're for my church. What are you talking about?
Please buy my monkeys, they're for church.
What? Did people buy them?
I mean, he built the church, so...
What year was this?
Probably like the 50s.
If someone came
this was like the 40s something, like late 40s.
Did he have the monkeys with him?
I don't know if he had the monkeys with him.
Please buy my monkey. His name is Michael. If you know, you know.
I want to buy a church.
My mother is obsessed with monkeys, and she had a little toy monkey, and she named him Michael after Michael Jackson.
Shut up, that's hella funny.
She still has him.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, shout out to you, Michael.
Michael Jackson the monkey.
Is that what he was doing?
I don't know, he was just selling monkeys to make the church.
Or was it like a certificate situation?
I have no idea. I read online he sold live monkeys door to door, and I felt like that was really great to put in my...
Alright.
I knew you'd have a comment about that.
Put
so
that on
I
my
didn't
list.
know that your mother had a monkey named Michael Jackson, but...
No, just Michael.
Oh.
Not Jackson.
Oh, he was... Okay, gotcha.
He was not Michael Jackson.
So, like, if you name, like, your kid, like,
It
Celine,
was just Michael.
then she's not going to be
No
Celine
relation.
Dion.
No relation.
Okay. Understood. But named after it. Okay. So he proclaimed himself as the Messiah of the People's Temple, and that was his temple.
Okay.
It was a San Francisco-based evangelist group.
Of course it
Not
was.
sure what that means.
Evangelist.
Yeah, what is that? All I think of is Princess and the Frog, where the guy's like,
Oh my god.
Evangeline.
I don't specifically know what they believe in, but I'm pretty certain it's like a subsection of Christianity or Catholicism. One of them.
Okay, well, he started the temple in the 1950s in Indianapolis. So he was selling monkeys when he was probably like 18.
Where was he getting these monkeys?
I
is what
have
would
no
like to know.
idea.
From Africa, where he wanted to build his utopia?
That was South America.
Oh, okay.
It might be. I don't know.
Was it not? I thought it... Oh, no.
It was Guyana. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce
Okay.
it
I was hoping you would help me, but whatever.
either.
He started the temple in the 1950s in Indianapolis. It was inspired by the idea that society could overcome the evils of racism and poverty. So it was a good, like, thought.
Okay.
It goes very dark, but it was a good thought.
All right.
He was white, but the temple attracted mainly African Americans.
Interesting.
I don't know what the correct way to call them is anymore. Is it African Americans? Is it blacks? I don't know. What is the correct way?
I don't think it really matters.
No, it does, because my mom told me that I'm being politically incorrect if I call them African Americans. But that's what it said.
Why?
Apparently that's offensive now. My mom works in elementary school, so she knows.
What are you supposed to call them?
Blacks? I don't know.
I feel uncomfortable saying blacks.
Okay.
And I'm half black.
Okay, so half African Americans we'll go with.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in 1960, the People's Temple affiliated with the Christian Church. 4 years later, he was ordained.
So does Christian.
No.
Okay.
So city leaders honored him by appointing him to
City leaders?
Yeah. To the Indianapolis Human Rights Commission.
Oh.
So he was...
Interesting.
Because his idea was good, They were like, great. And he's a great speaker. And someone that knew him when he was younger, like, commented later and was like, he always wanted to be a speaker. He was always really good at it. Like, he was always just born to speak. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Okay.
Then in 1961, Jones had a vision of a nuclear apocalypse and told the members they needed to move somewhere safe away from the nuclear attack.
Hold on.
He's God, all right? And he told everyone.
So what you're telling me is this man is my father. I've told you that story, right?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Mom, if this is embarrassing. I'll ask you if I can keep this in.
Your dad was God?
Yes.
Shut up. I need to hear this.
You're in the presence of holiness, Carley. You're welcome. Jesus Christ incarnate. No, my father, my biological dad, is a little cuckoos, and
yeah. That's where you get it from.
And when my mom moved in with him, they were in a not so great community. It was very high in crime rate, stuff like that. So he would tell her to stay in the house, she could never leave. And then it got to the point where he was
That's why they had you, because they were always inside.
I was already born. That's
oh, okay.
He's like, keep her safe.
okay.
But it got to the point where he started telling her, no, I'm God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was like...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He was pretty convinced, so...
Jesus. Gaslighter. The ultimate gaslighter.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
I know.
I'm gonna start telling people I'm God.
I thought you already were.
Well, I am God. Anyway, no.
As we've stated before, God is a woman, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, as I've stated before, I am a woman, and therefore...
I remember that episode.
Anyways. So he was appointed to the Indianapolis Human Rights Commission, which is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
1961, he had the vision of the nuclear apocalypse. He and about 140 followers moved to Ukiah, California. Ukiah? I don't know. U-K-I-A-H.
Okay.
Looks like a Ukiah to me, but whatever.
I don't know what else it could be.
Ukiah? Ukiah?
Okay.
It could be a lot. Uka.
I don't think so. Sorry.
Move to Uka, Cat.
Whoever lives there.
Move to Uka, CA.
This all sounds super fake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. But I looked this up in a lot of detail, so it's not fake.
Is this Northern California?
San
Southern.
Francisco, they also opened one. I think there was one. I don't remember where it started, but...
No, but where is Ukiah?
I have no idea where Ukiah is.
Close to San Francisco, I'm
I
assuming.
don't know, I didn't look up a map.
Well, you usually do.
I don't ever look up a map. But
Well,
I
maybe
look
you
up
should.
a lot of stuff.
I'm just
Oh, God.
kidding. Don't do that.
I'm gonna have to turn the thing around and be like, this is where Ukiah is.
Why aren't you a cartographer?
Fuck!
Carley?
I'm
God.
sorry.
You're ruining our podcast.
Really bad with geography. I thought
So
Milan
am
was
I.
in Spain.
That's true.
Anyways,
Move on.
the People's Temple, which is the one that he started, it ran homeless shelters, soup kitchens, food banks, and job placement services. Then more opened in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Okay. So Los Angeles.
Okay.
Well, agricultural settlement Jonestown was founded in 1974.
They named a town after him?
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. That was just, it was founded then.
Where's
but
my town?
There's a whole, thingy there. Jones as a leader. He quickly became more protective and controlling. He made members live communally and pressured them to give all of their belongings to the church. And their homes.
Right?
And their homes. He punished followers who had contact with outsiders, including family members.
Also sounds about right.
He told parents when and how to punish their children.
Mm-hmm.
Then he began punishing children and adults himself publicly with verbal humiliation or a wooden paddle. He would also stage fake cancer healings.
Where's Houdini?
Where's Houdini? It's said his change was so gradual that the members didn't even recognize that it was so much change.
Yeah, because that's what freaking narcissists do.
Yeah. Nobody outside the temple knew what was going on, and the members kept the privacy very private. There were armed guards that only allowed members inside. They were known as the Red Brigade. They were known as the Red Brigade.
Okay.
His way of leading was called apostolic socialism, influenced by the Marxist.
Why'd you choose a story with so many words you can't
Fuck
pronounce?
off! I didn't know when I decided it. Okay. His way of leading was called apostolic socialism. It was influenced by the Marxist libertarian theology.
Okay.
You know who Karl Marx is, right?
Yeah.
It mixed social concerns with faith healing and a worship style that came from the Black Church. He was inspired by Father Divine, aka George Baker. Father Divine, his members worked for nothing or very low wages, very similar to how Jim Jones runs his shit. And they put all their resources together and benefited from the common good. So it was a little more beneficial rather than being put your shit in there and whatever, you know?
Father Divine sounds like a drag queen name. I'm sorry, I had to get it out of my mouth.
Oh, he is not a drag queen. He's probably very against that shit, if I'm going to be honest.
So sorry, that's the first thing I thought
No, that's amazing. I think
was
that's great.
RuPaul.
RuPaul?
Specifically. Sorry, RuPaul.
Oh my god. So, Father Divine.
So sorry. Maybe I should take some concern out.
Hey, mine hasn't worn off yet. We're almost there, though.
Okay.
I took it at 9:35, so we got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Anyways, Father Divine had odd spiritual beliefs and claimed he was God and demonstrated supernatural powers. I didn't go into that because we're not talking about Father Divine, so I didn't go into that.
So, no one questioned that they were both God, or what?
Well, he did his stuff after him,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Then, by 1970, the People's Temple had 3,000 members and attracted 20,000 to Sunday services.
Wow.
Which is quite a bit. I mean, he was ordained, and he was recommended to the Indianapolis community of people, or whatever the fuck it is. So, yeah, of course they're gonna,
Guess that's true.
Yeah.
I know that now I feel racist because you said something. I was going to say, I know that the Black community is usually really involved in their church.
Well, almost all of the members are Black.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Or African American.
Yeah, so everyone
Almost all of
comes
them.
together.
Yes.
They're super
Yes.
involved.
Yes, and that's exactly what it is. It is 90% African American.
Yeah.
And so, when you're in the 70s and you're an African American, you're going to take that shit, It's 70s. I know that it's been
Yeah.
a while, but still. There's something that's based on you and based on poverty and racism.
You feel a sense of community, especially in a religious setting.
Even if it's a white dude that's running it, you'll still, like...
Because his message is
what
you want. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, even though it's a little later, still, I mean, it's a sense of community. And that's what he wanted.
Well, that still happens today, so.
Yeah. So life inside the People's Temple began to escalate very quickly. Jones would tell sacred members that the fascist American government wanted to gas African Americans like they did the Jews.
Oh my God.
The Jewish people. I don't know. Is that offensive saying the Jews? I don't know.
You've said the Jews a lot.
Okay, then never mind. The Jews.
Well, I think I cut most of it out.
He said the temple was their only protection.
Interesting.
He punished anyone who disagreed with him. He required loyalty tests that involved sleep deprivation and physical pain.
Sounds along the lines of a typical cult leader.
Yep. There began to be more pressure on the members to give the church all of their possessions. Jim Jones said that the church would always take care of them, but if members wanted to leave, they were threatened by physical harm. As a show of commitment, he made members sign false testimonials that they had molested their children.
Oh my God.
Which the church kept for potential blackmail.
Okay,
but he still preached love, diversity, and acceptance of the utopia after the inevitable nuclear holocaust.
Where do people think of this shit? Does it just like...
Yeah, I mean, he went to a bunch of...
This is a fantastic idea. I'm gonna blackmail 3,000 people. Do they go to school for this?
Well, he went... Remember, he, went to a bunch of different churches, and then Father Divine was his, inspiration. I mean, if you're going to a bunch of different churches and you're listening to everything and doing the rituals, you have a pretty good idea. I mean, it's a terrible idea, but you still have it.
Well, that just is saying that all of those churches were culty.
We're not going to get into that right now. Anyways, he claimed to be a reincarnation of figures like Christ and Buddha, and that his goal all along was communism.
What?
Yep.
He said that out loud?
Yes.
Never mind.
Later on...
These monkeys were for communism.
They're communist monkeys! Do you want your money back?
He was just trying to invade.
Shut up, that was hella funny! The communist monkeys!
Could you freaking imagine if you bought a monkey from that man? I'm not even joking. What would you do with it?
Monkeys live, quite a long time.
What would you do with it? Oh my God.
It's communist!
You just turn around and it has freaking red all over itself.
You just turn around and he's like,
the blood of their
sit
enemies.
down.
Oh my God.
Alright, moving on to 1973. The group came under investigation, and Jones's paranoia grew. He told the members they had to commit suicide as a form of protest. The entire temple membership practiced suicide routinely. They lined up to drink cups of poisoned fruit drink, then fell down. No, that's actually where the term comes from.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Wait, is this the...
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Is this the...
Yes,
that one?
this is where it comes from. Yes.
Where they're all in the one room and it's...
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh, I know the story.
So, his church was...
I didn't know he sold fucking monkeys.
He sold monkeys to get there. But they lined up to drink cups of poison fruit drinks, then fell down pretending to be dead.
Oh.
This was a practicing suicide. Routinely, apparently.
That's safe for your mental health.
Yep. His church was accused of financial fraud, physical abuse of its members, and mistreatment of children.
By who?
The government.
Oh, it's like who accused him?
The government, and also people that were members and they're not anymore. Because now, Jonestown. He wanted to get out of America because the government is on their ass to escape from prying eyes and interferences. So, they bought land in Guyana. Okay. A few dozen moved there and began to build their utopia. They called it Jonestown, and that's when it was founded in 1974.
South America?
Yes.
Okay.
Guyana.
Okay.
In 1977, Jones and a few others moved to Jonestown, and more than 900 men, women, and children followed. As more people moved to Jonestown, there were many reports of problems, obviously. It became it became an armed camp where volunteers would threaten to fight outsiders to the death with machetes and guns.
Where are they getting this
I'm gonna
equipment?
fight you. I don't know.
How is he funding this? Just straight off of monkeys?
Monkeys, I guess.
And now the members of his church?
Yeah, I guess.
And their houses that they're selling?
I mean, I guess. There was temple members worked long days in the fields, just like Father Divine, and
how does
they were
a church buy guns without people?
Well, they were in South America at this
Shit.
point, so who knows?
I guess that's fair.
Because obviously here you can't do that, but in another
Well,
country, I mean, maybe there's, I don't know. It was also the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not 2023 anymore, right? At that point.
Well.
So anyways, they worked long days in the fields and they were subjected to harsh punishment. So this was pretty similar to Father Divine. I don't know if Father Divine did harsh punishments, but I know that he made them work in the fields and didn't really make a lot of money. Their passports were taken away and their letters and phone calls to home were censored. Family members in the States were alarmed, and they reported human rights abuses, as well as fearing for their loved ones, and that they felt were being kept against their will, which they kind of were.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah. And then U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan started a new investigation. With Jones's permission, Leo Ryan and his news crew came to Jonestown in 1978. They gathered footage and interviewed Jones and many others. At the time, Jones was in declining mental health and addicted to drugs. Which explains a lot.
I would like to know how that conversation went.
Yeah. Well, nobody will ever know.
Could you imagine a congressman calling you, "Can I visit your town?" No reason. Just like to visit.
Well,
can I bring my news crew?
No, he gets stupid paranoid. So, several families asked to leave with Leo Ryan and his news group. Jones said they could go, but then a group of People's Temple gunmen attacked the entire group at the airstrip when they were about to, get on the plane and killed all but a few that ran into the jungle.
Oh my god.
When the gunmen came back to Jonestown and told Jones that Leo Ryan was dead, Jones made an astounding announcement. Now we're at November 18th.
Why would you say that?
I'm sorry. November 8th.
We're cursed now.
Whatever. November 18th, 1978, he said that, Jim Jones said that the group had no choice but to commit revolutionary suicide right now. And if they didn't, they would be taken as prisoners by the American government to be mistreated and brainwashed.
Okay, so every day for them.
So Jones's aides mixed vats of fruity drinks, but adding actual poison this time, rather than the false alarm, whatever they did, their practices, I don't know. Most members...
Why are you saying fruity drinks instead of Kool-Aid?
I don't know.
It's Kool-Aid,
It's
right?
not called Kool-Aid.
Are you
It's
sure?
called fruity drinks.
Are
Yes,
you
I
sure
swear
it
to
wasn't
God.
Kool-Aid?
No, that's where they got the name from, but it's not Kool-Aid, I swear.
I would like to know.
They
what
would
fruity
say
drink
that.
it is.
They would say if it was Kool-Aid.
Are you sure?
No. Anyways, most members drank this cyanide punch willingly. Around 80 members escaped by pretending to be dead or hiding,
Oh my God.
including one of Jones's sons. Those who resisted were forcibly killed. Jones himself died of a gunshot wound, but we're unsure if it was self-afflicted or if someone else did it. 914 people died in this mass suicide. 217 of them were children. They killed the children first by nurses and parents shoving a syringe down their throats.
They didn't even get to drink it, the Kool-Aid.
They didn't even get to enjoy it.
That's rude.
Super rude. Then we're going to the aftermath. The People's Temple dissolved after this, but left an impression on America, obviously.
Yeah, because they're all gone.
Yeah. Well, now we have the term, drink the Kool-Aid, comes from Jonestown tragedy. This means to completely buy into something or follow a crowd without questioning. In case you guys were wondering. Then the police get a horrifying tape of the event called the death tape, which helped investigators understand what really happened. Researchers also found over 1,000 recordings of propaganda, conversations, and sermons. Whatever that means. So.
You don't know what sermons are?
I know what they are, but I don't know what it means just saying that they
have
recordings.
So
no, they have recordings,
well,
I guess, of sermons talking. I don't know.
A sermon is like a speech.
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyways.
They probably were recording the church meetings like that.
Definitely.
That's what when the priest stands up in the podium and reads from the book. You know.
Okay, that's a sermon.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a god or like a priest.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a noun.
Oh, it's not.
It's a verb.
Well, I guess it is a noun, but not in the way you were thinking.
Okay. So, they find the death tape. I'm just gonna briefly go over what's in the death tape. It's 44 minutes long, and I didn't have the chance to actually listen to it, and I didn't really want to because it sounds pretty gnarly.
Gotta guess it has to do with death.
Well, yeah. So in the audio, Jim Jones speaks to his members. He claims that there have been members who have left and committed betrayal, as well as stolen children from others. And then those parents that are seeking the right to kill the ones that stole their children. He says the congressman was stealing the children, and that's why he was killed. Then he says, and I quote, "If we can't live in peace, then we must die in peace."
I don't know. It sounds pretty violent
to me.
It's
super violent. He goes on to tell the crowd that he knows that one of the few that were on the plane with the congressman were going to shoot him. Claims he didn't plan it, but knows it's going to happen. It was a man that was seeking revenge of them killing his mother. I didn't look into that. I don't know who actually killed his mother. I don't know, but that's what he said.
Okay.
He then goes on to say how there will be more congressmen coming now because of the lies that people are spreading. And they need to take the potion like in ancient Greece as a revolutionary act.
Like in ancient Greece?
I guess. I don't know. He says, "We can't go back." I quote, "We can't go back. They won't leave us alone." Then he says, I quote, "And there's no way we can survive." Then he says that if the people who betrayed him left their children there, they will butcher them. Then he says, and I quote, "To me, death is not a fearful thing. It's living that's treacherous."
Okay, yeah.
Then he says, and I quote, "We win when we go down." Sounds like a winner. A person from the crowd speaks up and says she feels like she has the right to her own destiny and that she doesn't want to commit suicide and she shouldn't have to. Another member tells her that her life has been extended all because of Jim Jones. To which Jim responds, "You will regret it if you don't die."
What? What?
He says, "You will regret it if you don't die."
What did that other person mean by your life has been extended?
Because they're saying that Jim Jones has made so many sacrifices to make his people happy that you owe him, you know?
Oh. Like,
that he
died for your sins. Type
yes,
of thing.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And then he says that the government is going to start parachuting from the air and kill their babies.
The U.S. government?
Yes.
Okay.
Then he says, and I quote, "Don't be afraid to die. If these people land out here, they'll torture some of our children." Then says they will torture the people and seniors as well. Yeah. Then they discuss how they have 40 minutes and their exact plan to commit the mass suicide. So they're sitting
40
there.
minutes?
Yes. He says, we have 40 minutes. Get the vats ready. Like, come on, we have to start doing it.
What a
And
weird
there's children and babies
amount of
and
time.
people hysterically crying in the back. Is what I read.
Interesting.
And that's why I didn't want to listen, because I read that. And a person in the crowd asks the people why they're crying, and that this is something that they need to... I started? Okay. So, a person in the crowd asks the people why they're crying, and says this is something they need to rejoice about. Then he says that Jim Jones has suffered and suffered for them to be happy, and he is the only God. Jim Jones says,
Other than Father Divine.
well, these are different. Jim Jones says to relax. And that's the best thing you can do right now, because the suffering will be over. Relax! I'm just killing you. Relax.
Okay.
Then he says he doesn't know who killed the congressman. And
What?
as far as he was concerned, he killed the congressman himself. I'm like, you just said you knew who it was.
First he said he knew who it was, then he said he didn't know, then he said it was himself.
Yes. Yes. He said, as far as I'm concerned, it was myself.
Okay.
And then babies are crying in the background continuously during this whole thing. Children, babies, adults, everyone is crying. Like, not everyone, but, you know, the people that don't actually believe that you need to die.
Mm-hmm.
Jones says, I don't care how many screams you hear. I don't care how many anguished cries. Death is 1,000,000 times preferable than 10 more days in this life. He stops speaking, music plays, then there's silence. Everybody took it. And that's the end of my story.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Well, the one I was thinking of, I think, is a little different, but I think it's because when people tell the story of, like, drinking the Kool-Aid, it's, like, a lot less... It doesn't sound as real. Like, as far as I knew, people were
It's just like followers.
being forced, but, like, they were all lining, like, they were all in a room, and they would go in, like, groups. And then the last group, something happened with the last group or something, like, I don't know if they took it themselves, or if, like, they...
That's different.
Yeah, I think that's a different story that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But
it was similar.
yeah, he killed 914 people, 217 of them being children. Like, children.
That's super scary.
It's disgusting.
Because, like, cults like that are still happening. Like, QAnon, which is a whole thing.
Honestly, the Church of Scientology is kind of a cult.
It is a cult.
Well, I didn't want to, like, say it and then, like...
Who's gonna sue us?
I don't know. The Church
What's
of
his
Scientology.
name? Brad Pitt?
Tom
Was he
Cruise.
part of- Oh. Tom Cruise.
Brad Pitt! No! Tom Cruise.
Is he part of that still? I thought he left.
No, Tom Cruise is just... We're not going to get into Tom Cruise because I got a lot of opinions about that motherfucker. But
Okay.
he was a part of the Church of Scientology. I don't know if he is anymore, but...
Well, they make it a super big deal about you joining, so I don't see
You know-
why they would allow him to leave.
You know, my office was an old Scientology office.
Really? What?
It was like an old, like, Scientology, like, area or some shit. Like, I swear to God.
That's so weird.
Isn't that so weird? But yeah, I mean, that's my story for
I didn't know
y'all.
they had more than one building.
Well, I don't know what exactly the details are, but I know that there was something to do with Scientology in my workplace. Before I was there. I'm not participating in any Scientology now. Just before I was there was something to do with Scientology. That's all.
Before your company was there?
Yes.
Okay.
The
I was like,
building or something had something to do with it. I don't know what the exact details are, but I am not part of the Church of Scientology, okay? Making that clear. And I hate Tom Cruise, so.
Well, I mean, that being said, I know I was listening to, well, I still listen to them, and I mention them often on the podcast, and that's why we
Ladies with Tangents? Oh.
No, but I like them too. Em and Christine, Christine covers the true crime, and Em covers the paranormal.
Oh, that's like me and you.
Yeah, so, but Em went over a QAnon episode. It was like a couple of episodes because it's a really big topic, and they had a lot of people responding, like commenting on all their stuff, like, yeah, my mom is a part of QAnon, or like my relative or whatever.
Oh my god.
And so I just want to make it known that, like, we don't fault anybody who's like a part of things like this. Like, it's a serious issue. Obviously, people, especially different religions, different
even races. Like the fact that African Americans felt like this was a safe place.
Yeah.
Because that's what Jim Jones made it sound like.
Mm-hmm.
I want equality and I want poverty to stop.
Yeah. So I don't think it's anyone's fault.
No, whatever they promise you,
And
I get it.
Horrible fate that those people had to encounter. Terrible. And people now are still encountering similar, if not the same, fates as that.
I don't know if there's been...
I don't think it's
a massacre quite as large of that.
Well, I don't think mass suicides are quite as... I didn't want to say popular,
common.
But yeah.
Common.
I don't think they're quite as common now because there's social media everywhere. So it's hard to...
You're right.
Keep that away from
yes,
prying eyes, so to speak. But things like that are still happening. Like, I think a big part of the QAnon thing is, like, they're always saying, oh, like, don't believe anybody, don't believe anything you hear, do your own research. But then, like, it's frowned upon doing your own research because then, like, if people do their own research, then they're still like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, but I'm going to do my own. It's very confusing. But it's kind of the same idea. Like, they're controlling your actions. They're controlling you. They don't let you speak to your family members. They isolate you. They torture you.
And your children.
Yeah.
So awful.
It's it's a really serious...
It's sad.
Cult, and it's sad. And, I mean, like, that's not to say that I don't think people that are affected are... like, dumb for believing what they believe in, you know?
No, it's just you were promised something, and you're like, I don't have much else, so why not?
It's easy to have hope for something when you're looking for that hope, and it's easy to put your hope in a false idol, maybe.
Especially in the 70s, when someone's telling you that they're God. I mean, that's kind of hard, and they're... In the 70s, that's like one of the only groups that's sitting there and specifically saying that we need poverty and racism to end. Of course you're gonna enter that. Like, of course you're gonna join that.
And it started off as sounding pretty good. Like, that's probably something a lot of people nowadays would want to be part of.
And that's why when it gradually got worse, people were just like, oh, okay.
But then you're in it and then you're trapped.
Yeah.
And then you start telling yourself, well, it can't be as bad as I think it is because that makes me a bad person, you know?
Because we're against, the whole point of being in this is against racism and poverty, but people suck. People will take advantage. They suck.
Yeah, that's why it's so easy for cult leaders to do what they do.
Because they hit, like, right at home.
Oh yeah,
and
they know like, what they're doing.
Oh,
they know
it's so fucked up.
Some people, like Jim Jones, probably didn't know exactly what he was doing until he realized what he had done, and that's when he started.
Yeah.
And that's when he started like, never mind, no church, no peace, communism instead.
I think that's when he started getting really like political. But before, I think. But the thing is I think he was very keen to all that, and I think he masked it as.
Some people are just crazy.
Yes, I think he masked it as poverty and racism, but I think he knew because he had been to a ton of churches, done a ton of rituals. He knows, like, what the hell's going on.
That's the thing. Cult leaders are supposed to be really intelligent, very easy
to
manipulate other people. Like, it's just something that comes naturally to them.
They're narcissists.
Which is scary. And when people like that tune into that sort of power that they know is there, and they start abusing that sort of power that they found that they have, and they found that it's easy to manipulate other people and convince them to do those certain things, it becomes a really terrifying thing.
It's so scary.
It happens often.
It's so scary. And you have to be kind of a genius to be able to do that.
Oh no, absolutely you do.
Especially
Because
like with all his research on the churches. Yeah, he knows it. He knew exactly what he was doing. Also,
Absolutely.
he had declining mental health and was addicted to drugs, so that doesn't help. But
probably not.
But I mean, I don't think he was addicted to drugs beforehand. I think it probably started later. Because I mean, if you're addicted to drugs, there's no chance that you can keep a cult running,
Well, it depends on if you're taking drugs and using it as a way to placate the members of your cult, because then they might notice, oh, you're not doing drugs with us. Like, are you sure that they're good?
I don't know if they all did them. I don't know.
So, I don't know. Because in Cult of the Lamb.
Fucking Switch game?
Yes.
Bitch! I was thinking about that the whole time as we're doing this research.
It's fun. It's not based in good ethics.
But it's not based on true stories either.
It's just a little lamb.
Yeah.
Who avoided death. Anyway, started a cult. But in that game, you can drug your followers, and then with mushrooms, and then they won't eat or sleep, I think.
Well, maybe he did that.
They only will, like, work or something. Like, I forgot what it is, but they don't have their needs are, like, gone. Like, they don't need
Well, they need a bed and all that.
Well, yeah, that makes them happy for the thing. But when you give them the drugs in the game...
When you give them the drugs? Oh, I didn't know that. I saw Rafa play it, but I didn't know.
For, like, a certain amount of time, they don't need any of the necessities that they would normally need. They just do whatever it is you tell them to do.
Okay.
And that's kind of like a mechanism in the game to get work done if you need it to be done.
That's a mechanism in cults. So,
yeah, I think that game nails it because it's actually
very smart
pretty
lamb.
Similar, but yeah,
very smart lamb.
So, I would like this show to get to a point where we can talk to
cult leaders.
No. Absolutely not. I don't want to spread that propaganda.
Ew.
No, I want to talk to, like, professors, like experts on stuff like this, and I want to interview them so that we can get a better understanding of, like, what the whole, like, meaning of everything is, like, how people get to that point,
right, where
it starts. Right. Just because I'm interested. I don't know if you guys are interested.
I am. I love the psychology shit. I love it.
Yeah, I think
that's all I got for you. Good night, spooky people.
Good night.